So welcome back everyone to another incredible episode of Chat with Dan. For today, we have on the show the incredible, amazing, the badass, the superstar, the legendary Emily. Emily, how are you today?
Good. Sorry, I was just trying to very subtly throw a cat toy, and it was not very subtle. Sorry.
No, it's okay, it happens. It is what it is. Great. So yeah, how are you? How are you today? How's everything treating you so far?
I'm good. I've been directing the show that I spoke about last time that you were here. We're in full rehearsals now, so it's been really
Yeah,
fun getting that off the ground
that's
and
really
turning
cool.
it into something.
That's really cool. I love it. I love it. Now, for today, well, before we start, I do wanna make sure that those who are watching this or listen to it, make sure to go follow Emily like right now. On the description below, you're gonna find her social media. Let's make her viral, as I said in the
Right
beginning,
now.
right? As I said in the beginning, hashtag Team Emily. And if you want to know how badass she is, you can check on the first episode, which is also available now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Um,
Thank you. Again, I keep saying you're like my biggest cheerleader.
Absolutely. And without further more, let's jump in. So for today, we have for today we're gonna figure out your top 10 films of all time. All right. So I'm gonna throw out some names, and yeah, we'll start to get it together.
All right. Well, I do know my favorite movie of all time. I've it's been the same since I was five, so I'm locked and loaded with that one.
Okay. All right. So that will be number one.
Yes.
Okay. So let's figure out the rest of it then.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, so my number one favorite movie of all time is an older film. It's from 1938. There's the cattail. It is called The Adventures of Robin Hood, and it is with Errol Flynn and Olivia de Havilland and Basil Rathbone. And I think
Okay.
it is probably like the most perfect movie ever made. It's got everything that a person could ever want and more in a film. It's
Okay.
got action. It's got one of the best sword fights I've ever seen in all of cinema history. It has this epic, beautiful romance between Robin Hood and Maid Marian, and their chemistry is off the charts. It got comedy in it. I laugh a lot, and it's got some really sweet slower dramatic moments in it's just a perfect film. Even the costumes, the sets, the music, it all comes together. It's hard to imagine that it was made in 1938, and every time I watch it I just fall more and more in love with it.
Okay. So that's your top one then.
Yeah, my
Gotcha.
dad showed it to me when I was five because I was really afraid of going to the dentist.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was just like frantically trying to put anything on to distract me about going to the dentist. And that was the movie he picked. And I watched it and felt better about going to the dentist. And then I watched it like every day after that. I snuck downstairs and stole the VHS from my dad and like watched it upstairs and was trying to be all sneaky about it. But yeah, I've loved that movie ever since.
There you go. All right. So let's figure out the rest. Ready?
Okay.
All right. So the first choice I got for you is The Shawshank Redemption. What do you think about that one?
I mean, it's a pretty perfect film. It's hard to compete or say anything negative about it. I've always loved it. It's a film though that it's such an intense watch
Yeah.
that I don't do it often. I think I've only seen it twice. And I'm very content with that.
Hmm.
I love it. It's beautiful, but I don't need to see it more often than that.
Okay. So would that be on your top or
No, no. I love
no?
movies that I can rewatch and just fall in love with. And so
Okay.
don't get me wrong, I love and respect Shawshank. Again, I think it's a pretty perfect film
Hmm.
and should have all the accolades in the world for it. And it does. It's deservedly so. But for a film that I just genuinely love to watch and would just put on, it wouldn't be Shawshank.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. The next one I got for you is The Godfather.
Ooh, that's another classic where it's just like it's a perfect film, but it wouldn't be in my top 10. Not for again, it's again a pretty perfect film, but I was very scared of it when I was little.
No.
My dad is a big film lover, and his logic was let me watch anything I wanted until it scared me, and then we would know what my limitations were. So I started watching The Godfather, I want to say when I was like seven,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Mm-hmm.
far too young to watch The Godfather. And I was doing great because the first scene is the big wedding, and then it's the meeting, and I'm like, yep, love it, I'm with it. And then there was a horse head in the bed.
Yeah.
And that really freaked 7-year-old Emily out. And my dad, to F with me, do you remember those toys you have as children where it's like the horse head on a stick and you can pretend
Yeah.
it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I had one of those. I'm sure you can see where this is going. And
Yeah.
my dad, to freak me out as a joke, hid that in my bed. So when I peeled back the covers to go to bed that night, there was a horse head in my bed and I screamed bloody murder. I'm pretty sure I slept in my sleeping bag that night, and it took me like another 10 years to go back to The Godfather.
Yeah, I can understand that. I can understand that. Yeah. My first two films when I was a kid was The Godfather
That's
and
amazing.
Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, that's another movie that you probably wouldn't show a child.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't show it to me. So what happened was that my father was watching those films in the living room. So I will sneak out, and since my room was right next to the living room, I would just open the door and just like watching, like from the side, just watching.
Yeah.
And I remember that those films, especially Saving Private Ryan, like shocked me more,
Oh,
because
yeah.
like The Godfather, I mean, it was like more dialogue.
Yes.
And Saving Private Ryan, it shocked me
The
like.
first, like, what, 10-15 minutes of that is just brutal.
Yeah, yeah, that basically shocked. Yeah, like that shocked me, and I remember that after it, my father was just like, "You're acting weird," or like something's wrong. I was like, "No, no." Later on, I told them what happened. They were like, "Okay, yeah, that makes sense." But yeah, that was a really brutal film, which yeah, I shouldn't recommend for a kid to watch it. So.
Yeah, when I was little, oh, this would probably be a top 10 movie for me. When I was in kindergarten, we had to go in and say like a movie that we had just seen and that we really liked, and everyone
Yeah,
was coming in with like Disney films and this and that. And I proudly proclaimed that Jurassic Park was a movie that I had just seen that I loved. And my teacher was like, "You haven't seen Jurassic Park," because I was 5. And I was like, "Well, no, yes, I have. And the Raptors and the T-Rex and blah, blah, blah." And I was going through everything. And she finally like sent a note home that was like, Emily is very adamant that she's watched Jurassic Park. Um, Hello? And my dad had to be like, "Yup. Nope, that's me. I definitely showed her Jurassic Park and she loved it. So oops."
yeah, I watched it also when I was a kid, and I was afraid to go on public bathrooms. I was so afraid that at
Yeah.
some point a T-Rex will just pop the roof and be like some. So I was like, yeah, no. There was
Yeah.
another film that really shocked me also. But it's an old one, and that it's about this group. Yeah, so it's based like on a true story that I don't know the name of it, but what happened was that there was this group of lions that they were incredibly smart, super smart, and they were like hunting like the locals there, and they gather like these professional hunters to take them down. But they they managed to do it, but it was a total it was yeah it was almost like an impossible task because those lions were like super smart. I think one of the lions is in a museum in Chicago, something like that.
Oh.
But that movie was, yeah, I was like super, yeah, that movie shocked me. And I remember a couple of days after, my parents decided to take me to to see the like to see the animals. And right next to the part where the lion was, I was like, no, 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 you know. So
Yeah.
I don't remember like the name of that film, but yeah, it's a very good one. I watched it like later on when I was like a bit more older, and I was like, yeah, it's a good, but I just forgot the name of it, but it's a good one.
Yeah, that is a type of film I probably would never watch. I cannot deal with animal deaths on camera.
Yeah.
I can see like the bloodiest, goriest, like pow pow fighting or like stabbing or murder, gunshot, whatever. I can deal with any of that. But my God, if a dog dies on film, I'm weeping. I am
Yeah.
just a wreck. I can't do it. I can't see Old Yeller. I can't do Marley and Me. My dog Skip. I basically just avoid any movie poster that has a dog in front of it.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, I can't watch Marley. I can't.
Nope.
No,
We'll
no,
never we'll
no.
never see it. I don't care how good of a film it
Yeah,
is. If Marley dies, which I'm fairly certain she does, I'm not seeing it. I'm not
yeah, no.
giving
I
it any
did.
chances.
I did watch it, and yeah, I was sobbing basically the last, I think, half an hour of the film. So yeah,
Yep. Yep. Nope.
yeah.
Don't want to go. Don't want to
No, I
go
don't
down
want to go
that.
there.
The
No.
only time I've ever made like real exceptions is if they are Academy Award nominated films. Then I usually love to watch the movies that are nominated for Oscars before the Oscars. So that's how I was sobbing watching War Horse, and I was like, I hate my life. Why do I do this to myself? It was brutal. It was like 2 hours of just watching this horse get abused, and I was like, why is this nominated? I mean, I understand why it was nominated. It was beautiful, but it was also really terrible.
Yeah. No, yeah. Like those type of films, I also try to avoid them too. There was for example, John Wick, like the first one where they kill when they kill their
Oh,
puppy, I was
yeah,
devastated, you know? And
yep,
it's interesting because I was like, if they did that thing to one of my dogs, of course that I would react exactly
yeah,
the same way. I don't
yeah,
care, you know?
yeah.
So
Anyone comes for my cat or dog or lizard, I'm gonna maybe not the lizard, sorry, but I but probably the lizard. If anyone tried
yeah,
to hurt her, I
yeah,
would be upset.
yeah. You know, the film that I was telling you about, I got here the name is The Ghost and the Darkness.
I've never heard of that. When was it made?
1996. It's a Michael Douglas film.
The Michael Douglas film. Wow. Yeah, I've never heard of it. I'll have to low key check it out without actually watching it.
Yeah, it's an incredible film because as I said, like the whole film, it's about how they are like trying to hunt these lions because they're like, but they can't because they're like incredibly super smart. So it's really hard for them to actually, shoot them basically. And they tried. I remember that in the film that they tried like so many different ways, but they just couldn't because of that like group of lions. They knew exactly like where to go, and they were like super like precise and things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
like
mean,
anytime
I
I try to
hate
put my cat
hunting.
in a carrier.
Yeah, I mean, I hate hunting. I think it's an
I
awful.
hate hunting
It's
too.
like at least to me, I think is like the most stupidest sport because some people
Yeah,
consider it as a
especially
sport.
the people that just like pay a lot of money to go to those fancy game resorts in Africa and just like have trapped elephants in there that they just kill for fun.
Yeah,
It's disgusting.
yeah. So whenever I will hear news about some hunters that died due to like the animals killed them or thing like that, I'm like, that's good. That's karma. I love it.
Karma. Yep. Karma.
Good for them. So
Yeah.
anyway, so moving on here. The next one I got for you would be The Dark Knight. What do you think about that one? Will that be in your top or?
I think that would be in my top. Yeah.
Okay.
I am a Heath Ledger super fan.
Okay.
He was the first celebrity death I ever cried over.
Hmm.
I just loved Heath Ledger. I think I've seen every film he's ever been in. And I remember just being such an emotional wreck in the theater, watching The Dark Knight, knowing that he'd already passed, and seeing this opus, this last film of his, and what an insanely incredible performance. I deserved the Oscar, deserved all the accolades and the praise. It was unreal. I was both terrified of the Joker, but could not wait until he was back on camera, until he was in another scene, because he was so electric. He was just so frenzied. I just needed to keep watching him, even though I was terrified of what he was going to do next.
Yeah.
It was such an incredible performance. I don't understand fully how he was able to toe the line doing that. And outside of Ledger's performance in it, it's just an amazing movie. Like if you remove all of the grief and the knowing that it was his last movie, just looking at The Dark Knight as a film, it is exceptional.
Yeah.
It's one of the best. I think it is the best superhero film. I'm
Yeah, I
gonna
was gonna
change
tell you that.
that.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
think it's the best superhero film ever made. I think it is the best in the Dark Knight trilogy. It's the best Batman movie. It's just incredible. Every performance is good. Um, Christian Bale, I think, is his best in that movie. Michael Caine, Morgan Freeman, Aaron Eckhart, uh, Maggie Gyllenhaal, even not doing a whole lot in that movie, was good. Everyone was just good, and the
Yeah.
script was amazing, and it kept you on the edge of your seat, and every time you thought the movie was over, it kept coming, but not in like a bad way, but in just like an exciting way. It was just frenetic. It was just a moment in time. I remember seeing it, I think 3 times in theaters, and then, like, going out and buying the DVD, like, the day it came out.
Mm.
It was just like a moment, and I wanna say cinematic history of just everyone collectively going to the theater to watch The Dark Knight and to honor Heath Ledger and just getting swept up in this brilliant film.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember back when that film got released? Suddenly everyone on Halloween wanted to dress as the
This is
Joker.
Joker,
And it
yeah.
was like a Joker convention at some point because everybody was dressing like that, which I find
Yeah.
pretty cool because then I mean, you get the chance to see how much that character influenced so many people. So
Truly, it was a moment. That movie and that character that Ledger did, that was a
yeah,
moment in time that I don't think we're gonna replicate anytime soon.
absolutely. So that would be on your top, but I
I
wonder.
think it would be.
So we'll leave it at perhaps, maybe.
Yeah, I think I there's other films I know I love more than The Dark Knight, but I think it would probably sneak in the top 10.
Okay, I'll take it. All right. The next one I got for you is Schindler's List.
Oh, not in my top 10.
Yeah.
Because again, it's just so heavy. I've only seen the movie once. It's not a movie that I'm dying to rewatch again.
Yeah, I can understand that.
But it's like Sophie's Choice. I've seen it once. I never have to see it again. I am very happy with it. I think it's extraordinary. Meryl Streep is just breathtaking. I don't need to see it again.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah. Yes, it's like one of those films. You watch it once, you're like, okay,
I'm good. I'm
it was
set.
amazing. That's it. Like I'm never gonna
Yep.
watch it again. Good to go.
Yeah.
And you're moving forward. Yeah, I
Whereas
get
like
it.
The Dark Knight, even though it's a really difficult movie to watch in terms of violence and gore, weirdly, I do love revisiting it and even knowing what's happened to just go back and keep watching it. It's always exciting. It's always got
Yeah.
me on the edge. I just love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Those type of films, and I was talking about that the other day. Those type of films like the Schindler's List, that are kind of based on historical events and everything, especially like during like the wartime and everything. There was a moment in time that I enjoy them, because of the whole history and
Of
everything,
course. Yeah, no,
you know.
I love those
But
movies. They're brilliant movies. I
yeah,
just don't want to put them back on again on a
yeah, no, no, no,
Friday.
yeah. What I was gonna say is that I stopped watching like those type of films and yeah, I just stopped recently, a couple of years back because I'm basically tired of how. Yeah, I'm just annoyed and disappointed about how like what a human can do to another human being. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
it's
like
hard
those
to watch a lot of movies like that
Yeah,
back
those
to
type
back
of
to
stuff.
back.
I'm like, I already know how. I mean, it shows you that basically we as human beings are like the worst,
Yeah, we really
and
are.
we're terrible, and we will find very, very imaginative, yeah, like very creative way, let's say, to cause harm to another person. I'm like, why, why? You know what I mean? So
Yes.
yeah, I mean, as I said, I mean, I think those type of stories they need to be told, absolutely. But yeah, as you mentioned, I mean, I just watch it once and be like, yeah, I'm good to go.
Yep.
So absolutely. Anyway, moving here. The next one I got for you is The Lord of the Rings.
Ooh. That's on the bubble. That might be in there.
Okay.
It's specifically the third film, The Return of the King. Fellowship and Two Towers are really good, but The
Mm,
Return of the King is the one that hit me the most. It's the one that I saw in theaters. It's the one that I like
yeah.
raced out to get the DVD for, and it's the one that I frequently rewatch the most. It's got the best battle scenes, the best dialogue. It just is the best in everything. I mean, it was supposed to be. It was the final film. It's where for all the marbles, but they really. Peter Jackson did such a phenomenal job of adapting one of the most beloved works of modern literature and putting
Yeah.
it on film seamlessly. I think it was at one point declared like a book that can never be put to film because of all of the different creatures in it and the
Mhm.
battles
Mhm.
in it. And Peter Jackson, just with the cutting edge technology at the time, he didn't even have a lot of experience. He was just a filmmaker in New Zealand, but he proved to them that he could do it with his stop motion and the creatures that he was creating with the programs he was creating, and just did it, and
Mhm.
it's so beautiful to watch. Every shot is amazing. The battles are unbelievable, the romances, the deaths, the people that we've lost along the way. It's just an amazing, amazing movie.
Yeah, yeah, that film. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. It's incredible, and every now and then, whenever if I will go like on the highway and everything, and then I see like a bunch of horses, I instantly get into my head the whole, like the whole final scene with the whole army of Rohan, and be like, yeah,
Yeah,
okay, you know.
yeah,
But yeah, that was a really cool film, and also we got the chance to see like the whole motion capture with Gollum,
yes.
and Andy
Andy
Serkis, who
Serkis is brilliant.
yeah, the other day I was saying that at least to me, I consider him like the godfather of motion capture, you know?
He is. He absolutely is. He has done more for that community and that group than any other human being. He is completely the face of stop motion and of animating and doing that type of work. He's amazing. I hope he one day sincerely gets recognized with like a lifetime achievement award
Yeah.
from some place that really matters,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
his work has been groundbreaking for actors.
Yeah, absolutely. He also was in the Planet of
Planet
Apes,
of the
right?
Apes.
Yeah.
Yep, he was that. He it is quite a few creatures that we know along the way.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember his whole resume. And then he's just a good actor when you just see him normally on camera. He's funny and engaging. So
Yeah. I also have heard that for some films, they will hire him as a consultant for motion capture, to give like his input on perhaps you should go here instead of that or do that instead of
yes.
there. So that's pretty cool. The fact that even till this day they still consider him to get him along, to get him on board onto projects. Since, as I said, I do think he's like the godfather of motion
Yeah,
capture.
he is.
That's pretty cool. So, getting back to the whole top here. So, would you say that will be on
Yeah,
standby?
it's very close. It might be in there, it might
Okay.
not be.
Okay. Okay. All right. The next one I got for you is Pulp Fiction.
Oh, I love Pulp Fiction. That definitely wouldn't be in my top 10 though, because I have other Quentin Tarantino's that I like more.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, I love Pulp Fiction, but the two that I love more than that would be Reservoir Dogs and
Mm-hmm.
Glorious Bastards.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and Glorious Bastards might be in the top 10 for me. Reservoir Dogs would be around there on the bubble, but I love Tarantino. I've seen every film he's done. He's just one of those directors that just wholly puts himself into films. You know immediately you are watching a Tarantino film. He's just got this style about him, and it's really, really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. He has one film left, right? Until he will retire, something like that, I think.
I don't believe him.
I mean I don't either, but that's what he
He
was saying, right? That there's like one film left, and then
I've heard that he's talked about retirements, but yeah, I refuse to believe it. I think he's still got stories in him.
yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, at least to me, like my favorite one would be Django Unchained, and definitely Hateful Eight.
Okay. Those are actually some of my lesser favorites. That's interesting.
Really
Yeah.
interesting. Okay. I mean, the reason why I love them is because there was a time that I became this huge fan of westerns, but like huge fan of westerns, and then I saw those two, and I was like, that's pretty cool. But
Yeah,
before, yeah,
I loved Django up until like the last half hour, 40 minutes of it.
yeah,
I think it would have been just way more powerful for Jamie Foxx to get freed and just know we as an audience know he's heading back to the mansion
mm-hmm,
and that he was going to do something. And I think it would have been a really cool film if it had just ended there and we were just left up to our imaginations to figure out what he was doing.
mm-hmm,
I did not need to see all of that blood and carnage at that point, and it just felt so dragged out for
mm-hmm.
no real purpose other than to just like have Leonardo DiCaprio play with furniture. Like, so I did not like the ending. I wish it had just stopped earlier. And the same with the Hateful Eight. I just think it should have been shorter. I think somewhere an editor was like, "Ooh, it's Quentin Tarantino. I can't say no to him," and just
Yeah,
let
you
him
can't.
do this massive film. So, but I enjoy both of them. Don't get me
Mm-hmm.
wrong. I've
No,
seen
no, yeah, I
them.
get it. No, yeah,
I've
yeah,
seen
yeah,
them
I do get
multiple
it.
times.
Mm-hmm.
It's just with Tarantino, they're on the lesser end of the movies that he's done that I
Mm-hmm.
like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So getting back here with Pulp Fiction, would you put it on your top, or would you put
No, it
instead,
wouldn't
as you
be in the
mentioned,
top.
Reservoir Dogs and
Yeah, I would have Reservoir Dogs or Inglorious Bastards
Gotcha.
before Pulp Fiction, but I would just mentally, like in my head right now, I think Pulp Fiction would be like my third favorite Tarantino. I think it would fall underneath.
Okay.
I think it would be Inglorious Bastards for me, and then Reservoir Dogs, and then Pulp Fiction.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Right. So the next one I got for you is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I love it, but not enough to knock Dark Knight out. Like in my mind, I'm like, I've got a
Okay.
superhero film in. It's Dark Knight.
Okay.
Nothing else is quite as good as that for me.
Okay. Okay. Fair
I've
enough.
really loved what they've done with the Spider-Man universe with Tom Holland and with the animated Spider-Mans. I think Andrew Garfield was a terrible Spider-Man, and those films like really turned me off. I loved the Tobey Maguire trilogy. That was like the thing I grew up on. And
We grew up with that one. Yeah, that's like our
yeah,
Spider-Man.
yeah. So I love Tobey Maguire and I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man, and again the animated Spider-Mans that have come out. But not any the Dark Knight stuff here, you know?
Mm-hmm. 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 I'll take it. I'll
Um,
take it. Fair enough. All right. So the next one I got for you is Fight Club,
ooh, that might be in there. I do love Fight Club. I mean, how do you not love Fight Club?
right?
Especially the first time you see it, when you get that massive spoiler, you get that moment and the entire movie makes sense for you. And I think that's like a line in the movie where Edward Norton's like, all right, putting the seats up in upright position now. And like that moment of just discovering what the movie really is
Mm-hmm.
about
Mm-hmm.
is such a magical moment. And I wish I could watch Fight Club with more people who haven't seen it before, just so I can watch their reactions. It's just one of those really cool films with a really
Yeah.
cool twist that just everything comes together. It's so well acted, it's so creative and original and different. It's a lot of fun. There's action, there's comedy, there's drama, and just this air of mystery of you just trying to put all the pieces together. It's just delicious.
Yeah, that film has like the most badass plot twist ever, I think.
It's up there, yeah. I mean, The Sixth Sense may give it a run
Yeah,
for its
true,
money,
true, true.
but it's up there for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that would be definitely on your top then.
I think it might sneak in, yeah.
Okay. I'll take it. The next one I got for you is Forrest Gump.
Oh, that I think that is in there too.
Okay.
I love Forrest Gump. I've seen it so many times. Oh my gosh, I quote Forrest Gump so often in life.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to Bubba Gump Shrimp in New York. I anytime that it's on TV, I will stop and watch it. Even when it's on like TNT with commercials, I will always stop what I'm doing and watch Forrest Gump.
Yeah, yeah, that is definitely one of the best films. And you get the chance to see. I mean, it's so funny how, like for example, when turns out that he was investing in a fruit company, and turns out that it's Apple, and you're like, are
Yeah.
you kidding me? Things like that.
Yeah, it's so
It's
clever in how they continuously put this one man at all of these really important historical crossroads and
yeah.
historical moments, and to have him not understand any of it and just have him kind of like bop around and just meander through it like that. It's
Mm-hmm.
just the most endearing way to tell history, to just I don't know. I love the movie. I just
Yeah, I
love Tom
mean
Hanks in it.
it's an incredible. I mean, you can't hate Forrest. It's impossible. You can't.
Yeah, and it's like a comfort movie. Like every time I watch it, I just feel like someone's putting a blanket on me and telling me that everything's going to be okay. I love the movie. I fall in love with it every time I rewatch it.
No.
And I think that's a mark of a good movie, is that even if there's a lot of difficult stuff in it, that you want to continue to watch it and continue to return to it. It's really nice.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What would you say is your favorite scene?
Oh gosh. I mean, it's not my favorite, but I have that the funeral speech, not the funeral speech, but the speech he gives to Jenny at her graveside, spoilers, when he buried her under the tree. I used to have that memorized. It's not my favorite, but just the speech itself was so beautiful
Mm,
of him just talking to her about their son. It gets me every time. Or the scene where she tells him that they have a child together, and the first thing he asks is,
mm,
Is he smart? Or is he like me? Is he smart?" She goes, "No, Forrest, he's so smart." And he just breaks down crying. That moment hits me every single time.
yeah.
Um, but like in terms of, I don't know, just like a fun scene, like him in DC at the mall, by the monument during the Vietnam protests, and him running up to Jenny and getting reunited there. It's just a really sweet, magical moment.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's cool. That's a really badass film, definitely. So yeah, it has to be on top for sure. Okay.
Yeah, I think it sneaks in there.
Moving on here. What I got for you next is okay. The Green Mile.
I actually haven't seen that.
You haven't?
I have not seen it. I do know of it. I know the overall tone and the plot of it, but I have
Mm-hmm.
actually never seen it.
Yeah, you definitely need to watch that one. It's a really, really cool film. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been on my list. I just have not.
Mm-hmm. The next one I got is Life is Beautiful.
Oh, that is a really great movie. I don't think it's top 10, but it is a really beautiful movie.
Okay. 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 The next one I got is a classic, Back to the Future.
Oh, that is a classic. I don't think it's top 10 for me, but I do love it. It's hard not to love. I love 80s movies in general. If I had to pick my favorite like 80s movie, it would probably be either Breakfast Club or 16 Candles, as
Mm,
cliche as that is. I think 16 Candles would be in my top 10, if I'm
yeah.
being honest, over Back to the Future, which is probably making a lot of people scream right now. But
Mm-hmm.
16 Candles was just very near and dear to my heart when I was growing up, and I wanting to be something special and cool and just living vicariously through Molly Ringwald. I think it's one of the more perfect films about growing up and being a
Mm-hmm.
teenager is 16 Candles.
And those type of films, it's incredible how even till this day some people are still discovering it. That I'm pretty sure that eventually
Yeah,
when we get older and we die, some people are gonna still discovering that film and that film is gonna stay like
for
forever,
sure.
you
For
know?
sure. I have a movie that I know is in my top 10, and it's The Princess Bride. And I don't know if that was going to come up on your list or not, but that is 100% top 10 for me.
Yeah, at some point I was gonna say it at some point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's another perfect film for me, where it's got everything you could ever possibly want or imagine in a nutshell:
Mm-hmm.
action, adventure, comedy, romance. And it's just so earnestly done. It's so wickedly funny and clever. I think the movie I've probably seen more than any other film in this world is The Princess Bride.
Okay. So that would be also on your top.
That would be top 10 for me. I know
Okay.
100% that would be in there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Right. The next one I got for you is Whiplash.
Oh, definitely not top 10. It's a really difficult movie. It's one that I've seen once. I enjoyed. It was a phenomenal movie. It deserved all the accolades and the awards that it was nominated for, and I never need to see it again.
Fair enough. I did watch it and I actually did enjoy it. I think that,
No,
but yeah,
I
what?
enjoyed it too.
No, no, no. Yeah, yeah. I
It's a
understand, but
great
but
movie.
to watch it more than once. I mean, I did watch it like two times, and that was at least that was it. I was like, okay, I'm done. So, there's a cool one.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a really great movie. It definitely deserves the awards. I think J.K. Simmons won Best Supporting Actor for that, and my God, that's a performance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. So the next one I got for you is Casablanca.
Oh, that's definitely up there. I think that's top 10. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, it's just so good. again, it's one of those other films where it's got action, adventure, comedy, drama, romance. It's one of the most beautiful romantic movies of all time. And it's probably got some of the most iconic quotes of all time. I
Mm-hmm.
think that list has got quite a few on AFI's like top 100 quotes. But here's looking at you, kid. I say that all the time. Louis, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. I always joke with my dad, my favorite line in the movie, and it's so ridiculously silly, but it's when Claude Rains goes, I am shocked to say that there is gambling in this institution. And then the guy comes over and he goes, "You're winning, sir." "Oh, thank you." And then quickly hides them. I assume my dad and I will always do, "I am shocked to say that there is gambling here." It's a weird moment that just always makes it never fails to make us laugh. Just the "I'm shocked, you're winning, sir." "Oh, thank you."
That's incredible. I haven't watched that film.
Oh my gosh, you have to see it. It's
I
so
haven't.
great.
Yeah.
It's got one of the most iconic endings. It's just a beautiful, beautiful love story tied to a very specific moment in history. The cinematography is so beautiful with the black and white and the things they do with the lighting and the smoke and the costumes. It's just amazing.
Mm. I'll be sure to put it. Yeah. Yeah. Several actors have told me about that, and yeah, it's definitely on my list because yeah, they have mentioned it like a lot. Yeah. A few times, and yeah, I haven't watched it, so definitely has to be on
Yeah,
my list.
definitely put on your list. I got the Green Mile on mine now. I'm pushing it closer to the top, and you got to push Casablanca up.
Sounds like a plan. I love it. The next one I got for you is Joker, the one from Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, yeah, no.
No, not on your top,
Yeah,
or
I did not like the movie. I thought his performance was dynamite. It was incredible.
mm-hmm.
I completely agreed with him getting the Oscar that year,
Mm-hmm.
but I did not like the movie, and I would be happy to never see the movie again. I don't think it depicts mental health in a really great way.
Mm-hmm.
And I found myself catching on to the twists and things a little bit earlier than I think I was supposed to. Like I knew fairly early on that the spoilers, that the girl, then the relationship he was having with the girl was a hallucination and not real, because he didn't know what apartment she lived at. And so for him to go to her door and just kind of like know immediately where she was, I was like, okay, so this is fake. And so like I spent like the next hour being like, this is fake. Why are we still pretending it's real? So
Mm-hmm.
I was not in love with the movie. I thought it could have been more intelligent with how it handled its issues of mental health and whatnot, and in handling the twists and turns of it. But Joaquin Phoenix, my God, what a performance.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely the Oscar for it.
Yeah. Okay. I'll see. I like it. I mean, I did like the film.
You're
Um,
totally entitled to
no, no,
that.
no, yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah,
of
I don't
course, I
mean to take away
understand.
from it.
No, no,
Just
no, 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 I understand, no problem. No, not at all. Yeah, I mean, I understand where you're coming from because yeah, that actually got me wondering at some point when I watched the film, like, huh, like there's some. I mean, like
yeah, I mean, I know it's just a
usually,
movie, but we have
yeah.
such an issue with gun control and mass shootings in this country, and to kind of glorify this loner going into a studio and shooting a talk show host on the air and then kind of being celebrated and rewarded for it. I just felt like this is
Mm-hmm.
not the
Mm-hmm.
movie that we should be making at this time. We have so much money in Hollywood. Why did we choose to make this movie now?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
No, yeah, I understand. Yeah, as I said, I mean, I understand where you're coming from, and yes, what I was gonna say is that like I usually when I watch a film, I tend to check on like those small details that perhaps, for example, if there's a song in the background, I turn to hear the lyrics and be like, okay, is the song are telling us something about the film that is coming up next, or something like that. For
yeah.
example, James Gunn plays with the soundtrack a lot with the song with on their films. I have discovered that if you tend to pay attention on what the lyrics from the song are saying, like during that scene, it gives you like what might happen or what is coming up
Yeah,
next. You know what I
you're
mean?
definitely right about that.
So I find that, and for example, with the Joker, it's true. Like during like during that scene when he goes to her apartment, I was wondering like, wait a minute, at any moment we never saw him like checking, where she was living or things like that. So yeah, I kind of understand that
Yeah, so I just felt like
that thing.
it could have been more intelligent with how it dealt with, like, if it really wanted to have that be a twist, I think it
Yeah.
should have been more, it's better written into the film, so it would be more shocking and jarring, because I caught on fairly
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
quickly with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Right. So moving forward here. The next one I got for you is okay, it's a classic. Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, I don't think it's in my top 10, but it would probably be top 20.
Okay.
Um, I feel like there are films that I like and enjoy a little bit more than that,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I mean, how do you not love that movie? It's just, so sorry, my cat is being very loud. It
No worries.
it's just such a fun movie, and I mean that in the best sense possible. It's really hard to have films that are fun and also be good at the same time. It's a very hard line to cross, or to straddle there, and it does so perfectly. It is so fun, and but at the same time is just a great movie in terms of direction and acting and
Yeah.
special effects and stylization. And yeah, the special effects don't hold up now. They're almost laughable, but that's not the point. And I don't think we even mind or care when we do rewatches. It's just this wonderful movie that I think all of us saw when we were little, and kind of all takes us back to wanting to put on the Indiana Jones cap and swing into an adventure. And I can't wait to see the new the Indy's last stand, or whatever, the last Indiana Jones movie that he was filming.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you haven't seen it?
No, I haven't seen the last one. I think it's the fifth one in the series. The
Yeah.
fourth one was awful. I mean, it wasn't, I think it got beat up in the reviews more so than it deserved, but it was still pretty bad, especially in
Yeah.
comparison to the others.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Because I did watch it, that one. The last one I did watch it. And I mean, at least personally to me, no, I
oh, darn.
didn't like it. So yeah. Anyway. Um right. Now the next one I got, it's yeah, the next one I got for you is Toy Story.
Oh, I am going to have a very controversial opinion here.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it.
I'm almost a little nervous. I prefer Toy Story 2 to Toy Story 1, and
Okay.
I usually get eviscerated by my friends when I make such a bold statement, but I love Toy Story 2. I think Toy Story 2 would honestly be in my top 20, and Toy Story wouldn't. I don't know why. I can't even properly articulate to you why I love Toy Story 2 more than Toy Story 1. I think it's probably tied in with Jessie. I love Jessie the Cowgirl.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
she is one of the best characters in that universe.
Yeah.
And I just love the plot of it, of Woody getting going to this toy collector and
Mm-hmm.
thinking that he's going to have this grand old time, and instead he is put in a box, and realizes what it's like to go back to that. And it's just a really cool movie of Buzz trying to save the day, and Pete is such an awful villain. It's just fun, and you've got Bullseye. And the sequence when we get flashbacks to Jessie's ownership, with the music when she loved me, but I think it's like Sarah McLachlan, or I think it's her singing like the saddest song of like when she loved me, and you see like Jessie just being like thrown outside in the rain. It makes me cry every single time I watch that.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time. I think it's one of the saddest Disney moments of all time. It's a top 10, like, worst thing that Disney's done to me, is that montage of Jessie when she loved me. Ugh.
Okay. Okay. To me, it hit me more the ending of the third one.
Toy Story 3 is brutal, but I felt like I was better prepared going into that. Like I knew it was going to be sad. It was the end of the trilogy, the end of an era, but like the just throwing away of a toy into the rain with like the saddest song overplaying it
Yeah.
just hit me more than
Absolutely.
Toy Story 3 did. But I love that trilogy so deeply because I was the exact age Andy was when all of the movies came out. So he was and I were like the same person
Mm.
growing up and having these relationships with their toys at the same time. So I it was something I also struggled with when I was going to college with like, do I get rid of my toys? Do I want to keep them? Would I like it's still like I feel guilty when I get rid of toys. I'll be like, oh, we had such a great childhood together.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
it's hard. But yeah, it's such a great trilogy.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, well, plus four. They
Yeah, but you know, the fourth, I did watch it, but
it's not
I
as good.
no, I was like, I will just stay with the third one, and that's it. You know, I will be like,
Yeah.
but to me, the ending was the third one. Got it. You know, don't want to see
Yep.
anymore.
Yeah, in
That's
my
good to
mind, the
go.
fourth one is not
Yeah,
canon.
didn't exist. Yeah, I did watch it. And I was like, yeah, no. And you know, fun enough, I did try to, you know, to get rid of my toys back then, and then turns out years passed, and then I visited my mom, and then she still has this box with my old toys. She was like, no, I'm gonna
Oh,
keep them. At one point when you have kids, you're gonna give them those toys because
yeah.
she's like more like the toys of these days are horrible, so I'm gonna give you I'm gonna give your kid your toys. And I was like, okay, but what if it's a daughter? You know, what if it's a girl? I don't care. I'm gonna give her the toys. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
sure. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, like, one of the toys I know I definitively still absolutely have at my parents' house that is so special to me are My Pretty Ponies, My
Yeah.
Little Ponies. I have, like, I wanna say 20 of them, and I just was obsessed with combing their hair and brushing their tails and just playing with them, and I can picture all of them in my head, and that is something I was absolutely unable to give up. I was like, "These I hope one day I can give these to my
Yeah.
kid."
Yeah.
Um, so
You know,
yeah,
it would be fun. I think at some point I might do that, but it would be fun to gather a bunch of actors and to make sure they bring one of their toys back when they were little.
oh, that would be really
You
cute.
know, that would be pretty cool.
Oh, I could actually do that. I have one here.
Yeah.
It's really funny. He's my childhood teddy bear, and he is so, just clearly loved and very sad looking. Uh,
Yeah.
we
Okay.
we're missing an eye. Weirdly, his eye fell out when I got pink eye, and so I thought that was my teddy's way of just like, "Oh, my eye is really bad. Oh, I have to have a bad eye."
Interesting.
So that happened when I was 8, but yeah, he can't stand up, he just flops over. He's got, like he's tufts of fur have been pulled out, like, there you can see spots where it's
Hmm.
just, like, there's no fur, and you can see his little stuffing, like, he was just loved to death. So,
There you go. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
I will never, ever, ever get rid of this teddy bear. This is just my childhood in a nutshell.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. You know, I do have one, but it's in my mom's house, but
Oh.
I do have an actual Buzz Lightyear.
Oh, that's so cute.
When the
I
first one
still
got
think I
released,
have,
they bought me one.
I think I have a Woody action figure somewhere still in my parents' house, and I did have a Buzz Lightyear whose, wings flapped up.
Oh yeah, yeah, I did have one too. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
Mm-hmm. I
just
lost the
scared the
wings
cat.
though, but I did I do have that one. Yeah, and also that it glows in the dark. Even till this day, a couple of years ago, I
Ooh,
checked
that's a
and it was
cool
still glowing in
one.
the dark. I was like,
Ah, that's
that's really
awesome. Yeah, you have
cool.
to keep that forever.
Yeah, absolutely. I even, you know what? I even, yeah, I have that one and a bunch of other toys that I play with, but I do think that that one he's like the most important one, or at least the one who stayed, you know, most of my childhood. Because you know, let's be honest, back when you were a kid, you will have a bunch of toys, but eventually either you will destroy them, you know, they will be broken, you know, and you know they will throw them away. but I think that Buzz Lightyear has stayed like the longest now that I think of it. So yeah, it would be cool. You know what? Yeah, at some point I'm gonna do that to bring like a bunch of actors to be like, you know what? The number one rule is to bring your favorite toy back when you were little, so we can have the discussion about it.
That'd be
So
really cute.
yeah, all right. So on your top would be Toy Story 2.
I think so.
Fair enough. I'll take it for sure. Mm,
Not for sure. I'm not keeping track of anything, but in theory, it would be in the
yeah,
conversation.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay. The next one I got for you is Good Will Hunting.
Shoot, that's probably in there. I
I love
love
that film. Yeah.
I love Good Will Hunting. It is such a good movie in just every sense of the word. And I think it's taken on a little bit more of a life since Robin Williams passing. Since that's the movie that he got the Academy Award for.
Yep.
But
Yep.
it's just so I would say it's a perfect movie and just leave it at that. There are no notes. It's just a perfect film.
When I watched it when I was younger, and I didn't understand the whole dialogue Robin Williams does to Matt Damon. You know that what you know later on, but way older. I rewatched it, and it hit me super hard. I was like, okay, I get it now. I get it.
As an
You know.
actor, I think one of the greatest master classes in acting
Mm,
is the scene between Robin Williams and Matt Damon when they just repeat, It's not your fault. I know, but it's not your fault. Yeah, I know, it's not your fault." And eventually just culminating in Matt Damon breaking down crying. It is just it's so naturally beautifully done of just listening to your partner and responding. Like as an actor, that's like a very easy acting exercise to get into, is just repeating the same line over and over and over again and seeing how it hits an actor differently. And seeing just it wash over Matt Damon after so many times of Robin Williams just saying, "It's not your fault." Not, yeah, I know. It's not your fault. No, I know. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's just, you just see it all naturally progress. I'm sure they didn't agree on how many times you say it's not your fault. I'm sure there was a fluidity to the scene, an improvisational element to it. And they just filmed it until Matt Damon broke. And it's just, again, because of how natural it happens and just seeing it before your eyes. Again, I think it's a masterclass in acting and how to
mm-hmm.
respond to your scene partner truthfully in a moment.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. All right. Next one, Citizen Kane.
Yeah, I mean, it's Citizen Kane. It's definitely one of the greatest movies of all time. It's probably not in my top 10. I haven't seen it in a while. But it's another film that's just, it's a perfect movie. It's just not my perfect movie.
Fair enough. What about Braveheart?
Yeah, and that's a pass for me. I think it's a great movie, but it's been brought down a lot for me because of the Mel Gibson and all of the problems that just comes with him and loving a Mel Gibson movie, of
Mm-hmm.
just his anti
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
all of his
Yeah. Yeah. I know
on
what you mean. Yeah.
on many different communities, ethnicities, women. I just, it's hard to watch his movies now and feel the same way about it as you did the first time.
Yeah. Absolutely. Then the next one I got for you is Singing in the Rain.
Oh, I don't think it's in my top 10, but it's a lovely movie. It's my mom's favorite movie. It's one of those that I can always rewatch. The actual singing in the rain moment is pure cinema magic, but it wouldn't be in my top 10. I've never loved it the same way that my mom has. Like I would fight to the death for Casablanca, but not for Singing in the Rain. I can't explain why. But I
Yeah.
love it. It's a great movie. It's just not in my top 10.
Yeah. Yeah. I can. Yeah. Totally get it. Totally get it. I mean, we all, and you know, the other day I was wondering. I mean, it's impossible. I mean, what I'm trying to say is I'm super sure everyone at least one time in their life, either when they're in the shower or when they're walking in the rain, be singing, the whole lyrics of Singing in the Rain. I'm super
Rain
sure
in the rain,
everybody has ever done it at least one. I'm
rain
super sure of it.
in the rain. Yeah.
You know. Right. So the next one I got for you is Star Wars Episode 6.
So that's the final one in the first trilogy, right?
Yeah,
It always like messes with my mind when the
yeah,
first
yeah.
one.
It's Return of the Jedi, the one in 1983.
Yeah, that's another one where I love it. It was never something that I was like deeply passionate about. Like I have friends with Star Wars tattoos and like had to go
Yeah.
to the Star Wars world when it opened up at Disney. Like I've never loved it as like a fanatic. I've never been, oh my God, it's the greatest thing ever. I enjoy it. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
But I would gravitate towards other things before I go to Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. What about Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
Oh, that's another really great sad movie. I don't think top 10, but that might be in my top 20.
Okay.
It's such a unique movie. That was just such an original concept, and it was so fun to see both Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet in roles that they typically wouldn't get to do.
Mm-hmm.
And just show off muscles that I don't think we knew that they had as actors, and just fall in love with them in different ways in this
Yeah.
movie.
Okay. Okay. The next one I got for you is Wally.
Wally. Again, I like it, but definitely wouldn't be my top 10. If I had to put like a Disney Pixar like
Mm-hmm.
that, and it would probably be Up. I think
That one. Okay.
that one I enjoy more. Um, but the Wally is great.
Okay. What do you think about Soul?
I actually haven't seen Soul. Please don't hate me. I know I'm a terrible person. Everybody who saw it just said it was magnificent, and
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I think it was right around when the pandemic was really becoming a
Around
thing,
that time. Mm-hmm.
and I missed it.
Yeah, that film you should definitely put it on your list. It's definitely yeah, it's a really powerful film. It hit me a little bit. Like
Yeah, no, everybody that has seen it has said I need to see it and it's extraordinary, and I just haven't done it. I'm terrible.
yeah, another film that I recently saw that is not, I mean, is not on this top that I'm watching, but a film that I saw recently was Christopher Robin, the one with Ewan McGregor.
Oh, see, I love Winnie the Pooh, and I just felt like I was setting myself up for a cry fest and that I should not do it. Uh, what do you think? Will I cry? Will I sob a lot?
Yeah, you're gonna cry.
Okay, then I'm not gonna do it.
Because I mean, without like giving, no
Yeah.
spoilers, not anything like that. But the thing that hit me that film the most is the fact that it's true that when I mean, you get older, you get to, you start to do, but you start to minding like your business and everything. But then at some point, you just forget about your inner child. You forget to have fun. You
Yeah.
forget to really enjoy. I mean, it's okay to to be in touch with your inner child here and there, and to actually have fun, because as I said, sometimes we just get into this mentality of growing up, and focus only on job, and things like that. And at some point you just forget about it, and at some point you forget all of that to actually to actually have fun. And I do have um an uncle who basically has spent most of his time. Yeah, he spent most of his life like that, and to see him now into a point that, yeah, he's retired now, he has his pension and everything, but every now and then he will be saying that I wish that I could have spent my time, instead of working, to playing, do silly stuff with my kids, or do silly stuff with my family, things like that. So that film hit me on that message, the fact that it's okay for you to say, you know what, screw it, I'm not gonna work, I'm just gonna have fun with my family, or with my pets, because sometimes, at least it happened that to me. Well, I mean, I had a dog that stayed with me for almost 20 years, and the last 5 6 yeah, the last 5 6 years, I was too much focused on getting a job and things like that. Then later on, when he passed away, I felt bad, because I was like, why I didn't spend more time, I could have spent
Yeah.
more of my time to be with him. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we all go through that of just having regrets of, oh, did I I should have done that. I should have spent more time with
Totally,
them or this and that.
totally.
It is what it is, but you can't go back and like judge yourself or
Yeah,
try to look at how you could have done things differently.
totally, totally. So yeah, that film has like that message, so it's a good one. And then there's another one that I also saw, which was Goodbye Christopher Robin with Margot Robbie.
Oh, I haven't seen that either.
That one is it's a total different one, but it's also a good one. It tells like the whole story of how they created like Winnie the Pooh and things like that. So but if you want like a very emotional moment, go watch the one with Ewan McGregor and the Goodbye Christopher Robin, the other one. Yeah, it's good. It would be like a hard. Just watch both basically,
Okay.
and we go from there. So
All
so
right.
yeah.
And just know that I'm gonna cry. Okay.
Yeah, probably more in the second one that I just mentioned. The first one you might a little bit, but the second one hits like more.
Oh,
So
good. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The next one I got for you, it's an animated one, The Lion King.
Oh, that's actually the first movie that I saw in theaters. My parents took me when I was like a year and some change, and
That's funny.
I absolutely loved it until, spoiler alert, Mufasa dies, and I started screaming, wailing, and they could not get me to stop crying, and they had to leave the movie early.
Mm, mm. A funny story that I have about that one, about that film is later on that film was on VHS, right?
Mhm.
So my family got it, so they could put it here and there. And my mom keeps telling that story, and she has mentioned it so many times that now I tell it. So what happened was that most of every night around 2 to 3 a.m., I will just sneak out of my bed, go to the living room, grab the VHS, put the Lion King, and just sit and watch it, and that was it. And then my parents will wake up because of the noise around, like around 2, 3, and like yeah, like 2, 3 a.m. Be like what is going on here? And they will just check it, and it will be just this little guy sitting in the carpet just watching that film over
That's
and
so
over and over and
cute.
over. I did that for a bunch of times. So yeah, that's definitely also on my list for the best animated films of all time for sure. The Pianist. What do you think about that one?
I haven't seen that one.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry.
Gladiator.
Oh, are you not entertained? Great movie.
Okay.
Not in my top 10, but
Okay.
definitely a great movie and just great for many different reasons. I love it. Definitely deserved Best Picture that year for me. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah. Did you know that film is now 23 years old?
Oh God, no, that's awful. But you're right. Yeah, it was
On
the first
2000.
it was 2000,
Hmm.
yeah. And then crazy, he was in Beautiful Mind in 2001. So he was
Incredible film that one
in
too.
back to back Best Pictures. I think he should have gotten back to back Oscars. It's
Yeah.
a shame he didn't.
Yeah. And now that you mentioned Beautiful Mind, what do you think about that one? Would you put it on your
Oh,
list or
it's a
not?
great
No.
movie. It's not top 10 for me, but it's a gorgeous, gorgeous movie that I do genuinely love.
Okay. Yeah. I could. Yeah. Yeah. I can agree. The next one I got for you is It's a Wonderful Life back in
Top
1946.
10. Yes, 100% top 10. I
Okay.
watch that every year, Christmas Eve. It is my tradition. It's just
Mm.
lovely.
Mm-hmm.
I think it should be a requirement for humanity that every person needs to sit down and watch It's a Wonderful Life. And I think we would all be better off for it.
Interesting. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh my gosh, this Christmas, promise me you will see it.
I'll be watching it I mean, here's the thing. So during Christmas, there is one film that I watch only one time, and then I will move, then I will wait until the next Christmas. But I mean, that being said, I'm gonna add It's a Wonderful Life for sure. But the film that I
Yeah.
watch every Christmas, just one time, and that's it, is Die Hard.
That's a great one.
Just one time, and then I'd be like, okay, cool, watch it. Let's see you next year. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great one. I always watch It's a Wonderful Life on Christmas Eve. That is my tradition every year. But otherwise, I always watch Love Actually. That is definitely
Okay.
probably in the top 10 for me as well. And I love Elf, and I will always watch Elf.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah, with what's
Will
his name?
Ferrell. Will
Yes,
Ferrell.
incredible
I
film.
quote that movie so much in my regular life. I sometimes for kicks and giggles, I will just pick up the phone if I know it's one of my really good friends and just be like, Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color?
That's really cool. I like it. Yeah, yeah. So I'll be definitely put on my list this time. It's a Wonderful Life for sure. Count on it, and
Good.
I'll be letting you know once I see it and be like, okay, yeah, you're right.
Good.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Modern Times, back from 1936.
Oh, that might actually be up there for me as
Yeah.
well. I love, 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 love Charlie Chaplin. It's
Yeah.
he's just like the most brilliant mind. The fact that he starred, directed, wrote, produced, he even created his own film scores, and they're all so good. Modern Times, City Lights, The Gold Rush, The Great Dictator, The Kid, Limelight. I mean, they are just incredible movies, and knowing that he did all of it himself, it's just extraordinary.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I haven't watched that too, but I'm gonna definitely be watching that
Yeah,
as well.
that one's really
Mhm.
interesting because it's one of the last films that he made, and so it straddles silent films and talkies.
Mhm.
He does eventually say something in Modern Times, but it's a really cool paradox of what he's going through as his character in the movie, as well as what's happening around him as silent films start to die and talkies become big. It's just a really cool movie in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'll put that on my list too. So, based on all of the films we've been through here, what would be your top 10? So we
Ooh,
got so far we got let me get it
I
for you. I mean,
know. Well, so my all-time favorite, The Adventures of Robin Hood. I've also
yeah.
put in The Princess Bride, and I
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
know one other movie that I would love to throw in there that you did not bring up. It's a very weird movie that I assume most people don't know or haven't seen. It's called A Fish Called Wanda.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's one of my all-time favorite movies, and I think it is one of the funniest movies that has ever been made. It's just this pure, outrageous comedy, and it stars John Cleese, Jamie Lee Curtis, Michael Palin, and Kevin Kline. And Kevin Kline got the Oscar for A Fish Called Wanda, which is so, so rare to see the Academy award a comedic performance. He was the best supporting actor for
Yeah.
a comedic performance in A Fish Called Wanda. He plays the most stupid man who believes he is the most intelligent man. And it's so fun to watch. His performance is just outrageous. But it is about four jewel thieves who complete the heist, get all the diamonds, and then they all start double crossing each other in very comedic, humorous ways. And it never fails to make me laugh. It's one of those comfort movies. I've seen it probably just as much as The Princess Bride, just a hair less, and the
Mm.
same with Adventures of Robin Hood. Those are the three films I've seen the most in my life.
Okay. Okay. So that would be on your top for sure.
Top for sure.
Got it. So,
Uh,
uh-huh.
so we've got those three. I
Mm-hmm.
know Dark Knight would
Mm-hmm.
definitely be in there.
We
Um,
got Fight Club, Forrest Gump,
yeah, Forrest
Casablanca.
Gump, Casablanca. Oh no, I'm starting to remember all the things we talked about.
We
It's
got
Good Will
also
Hunting,
Toy Story
definitely.
2.
Yes. Oh, I think my top 10 is just exploded. But yeah, those are all movies that I love and revisit and rewatch
There you
for
go.
different reasons.
I mean, at the end, what can I say? We have here an incredible list. Definitely, I will have a lot of homework to do by watching most of those films, which I love it.
Definitely watch A Fish Called Wanda. It's so effing funny.
I'll be putting that on the list for sure, for sure. Now, now the only question that I'm gonna have is, if we could make a film out of the episode we just did right now, you know what is gonna happen? We need a title. So how should we call it?
Oh no, I'm so unprepared. I don't know. I don't know. The last one was the epic adventures of Emily and Dan. I still feel we've had epic adventures again. I don't know. Can we put the sequel?
Part 2?
Part 2, like Back to the Future.
Yeah, if you want, I can put that at the epic adventures of Emily and Dan Part 2.
Yeah. Or Back to the Adventures of Dan and Emily. I don't know. Something like that.
Something like that. Okay. I'll see what I can do then. Okay.
The sequel. I don't know.
Okay. I'll see what I can imagine about. Yeah, I'll figure it out for sure.
Okay.
Right. So there you have it. Now, I want to thank those who either watched this or listened to it. Thank you so much. As I said at the beginning, on the description below, you're going to find all of Emily's social media. Please, let's make it viral. Come on, guys. I mean, hashtag Team Emily for sure.
Give me a follow. And if you want to follow my cat, who I'm sure you heard and saw her little tail going across like a little periscope, she also has an Instagram. It is Addy_the_baddie23.
I'm going to make sure to add that.
I have no chill. And she's very cute.
Cool. So follow both then. And again, Emily, thank you so much for making this happen. Keep killing it. Keep being this incredible, amazing of a badass person.
Thank you for inviting me back. I
absolutely.
really appreciate it.
And I'll see you in the next one.
All right.
All right.